Hello, this is Veterans News, a production of the United Veterans Organization of Nassau County. My name is Ed Allman. I'd like to thank Altice USA for providing the training of our crew and for the use of their studio facilities here in Hauppauge. The show is broadcast Mondays at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 20 and Fridays at 5 p.m. on Channel 115, and at various times in North Hempstead, Lynbrook, and Melville. The show is also seen on Verizon on Channel 37, but as for the time, you've got a better chance than I do of finding it. We'd like to thank Lynbrook's Mayor, William J. Hendrick, and Malvern's Mayor, Patricia Ann McDonald, and Town of Oyster Bay, too, the Town of North Hempstead Supervisor Judy Bosworth, for broadcasting the show on their government access channels. But most of all, I'd like to thank our crew. On camera 1, we have Jim Hessler. Hello, Jim. Okay. On camera 2, Al Zabrowski. That's it. Our sound director today is Loretta DeBrino. Our technical director is Robert Lane, and the floor manager is Beverly Allman. But most of all, I have to thank our director, Al Zabrowski, who's been with us for over 12 years. Okay. For your information, if you have a problem hearing Veterans News on TV, just turn up your volume. Altice tells me they have a problem with the sound. However, you can solve the problem by just turning up your volume. By the way, if you'd like to ask me a question or make a comment about the show, go online, please, to veteransnewsuvo@gmail.com. Our guest today is Pat Yngstrom, the Veterans Liaison for the Arbors assisted living community throughout Long Island. We'll talk to our guest in a few minutes, but first, here are the veterans who died recently. Frank Kiss was a Marine who was a member of the Marine Corps League and the 1st Marine Division Association. Myra O'Sullivan, Marion O'Sullivan, was a 101-year-old female and a proud World War II veteran. Frank DiCarlo, a Bronze Star recipient, a machine gunner who fought in the Battle of the Bulge. Peter Cellula, a World War II naval operator who fought in the Philippines. Hyman Strackman, who was drafted 2 months after Pearl Harbor, was discharged as a staff sergeant in 1945. Harold Wattell enlisted in 1942 and served on the USS Massachusetts. Frank Scarpella served in the 31st Infantry during the Korean War. Donald Patone, a decorated World War II veteran and member of the VFW and the American Legion. Fred Herbert, a World War II veteran of both the European and Pacific campaigns. James Laughlin, a proud member of the Marine Corps. Charles Wagner, the recipient of the Distinguished Flying Cross, who served in the China-India-Burma Theater of Operation. James McElwee, a proud World War II Navy veteran who served on the USS Custer. And last but not least, Mary Fogel, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps. If you know a deceased veteran that you would like to hear his name or her name on this part of the show, just call me or email me at veteransnewsuvo@gmail.com. That's the end of Veterans News, and now it's time for our guest. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Ed.
Okay. Pat, tell me something about your military background. What did you do in the war?
Well, I was with the 101st Airborne Division in Vietnam, September 15th, 1970 to September 14th, 1971. A number of roles. I was attached to the 502nd Infantry, or we call the 50 Deuce.
The 50 Deuce?
50 Deuce. I spent a lot of my time in Vietnam, not actually in Vietnam. I was in Cambodia, I was in Laos.
Wow. I didn't know you were in Cambodia and
Yeah,
Laos.
well, we went in there with no dog tags and no name tags. So I guess we were working for SOG, but
no
didn't know
dog
it.
tags.
No dog tags, no name tags. We got captured, nobody knew we were gone.
Wow. Did you lose anybody?
Lost a lot of people. Lost a lot of people that way who have never been recovered
Oh,
because it was what they called covert operations. Okay, and a lot of went on in Vietnam. Well, we laugh about it now when we talk to other Vietnam vets. Yeah, I was in Cambodia. Shh, don't tell anybody. Nobody knew you were there. You
Right.
walked in a green uniform. I worked with Marines. I worked with Green Berets. We all had the same uniform on. Nobody could tell whether you were the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. It was nothing. It was just a green uniform. But, we did what we had to do. It was I think back to it now. It was just a terrible time in our nation's history.
right.
When we came home, I got off a plane in Seattle Tacoma Airport, and a young lady walked up to me and spit in my face, called me a baby killer.
Oh,
That affected me greatly for 17 years, and that
Yeah.
17 years later, I had a stroke. So,
you
it
had a
was just
stroke? How old
major
were you?
stroke. 37 years old.
I never, I may have known.
Yeah.
I should say that we worked together.
We worked
at
together at the
Nassau
Veteran
County
Service Agency.
Veteran
Yeah.
Service Agency.
Yeah. Well, I was 37, so that's the reason I'm still here. I was 37. If I had
Wow.
that same stroke at 57, I wouldn't be here.
Well, maybe you would be.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
don't hold a stroke against
No,
anybody.
I won't.
I had
won't do
mine
that. I
at
know.
64, but very good. How long? You got out in
73.
August of '73?
I got out actually in March 8th, 73. I was in
Okay.
Vietnam from September to September. But
How long did it take you to get married after you got out?
today's date, February 28th, 1976.
76. So there
76.
was some time after getting out of the service
Yes,
before
we
you
got
got
out of the
married.
service, and on the day we got married, the temperature was 68 degrees.
What does the temperature have to do with it?
It was February.
Oh,
I had
February.
people coming from Pennsylvania who weren't going to come because it was February, and it was 68 degrees, and 3 days later I was in New England, and it was 2 feet of snow on the ground.
Wow.
So God was looking after us.
Yeah. Now, that was February 27th. That's today. Or
No,
today's
February
the 28th?
28th.
Okay. So today's your anniversary.
Today's my anniversary.
Well, happy
Happy
anniversary,
anniversary.
Pat. That's very good.
I'm here, my wife is babysitting. So
Your wife's name is?
Nancy.
Nancy. Oh, very good. Well, Nancy, happy anniversary. Very good.
Yeah, she's babysitting the kids right now, grandkids right now. So.
Okay. Let's talk about the Arbors. Pat, you're the Veterans Liaison?
for the Arbors Assisted Living. As far
What
as
is
we
it?
know, I'm the only one of me in the country. I'm an accredited service officer who works directly with the Arbors here, and we have 5 Arbors, one in Nassau County at the Arbors at Westbury, and then we have 2 right down the street here in Islandia West, Islandia East, one in Bohemia on Smithtown Avenue, and one in Hauppauge off exit 55 on the LIE. And it's my job to work with all of the veterans who are eligible for a benefit that nobody talks about called aid and attendance. And myself, I give seminars on this benefit in Nassau County. Ken Rommel and Larry Mansfield from the Nassau County Veteran Service Agency do seminars on this benefit. In Suffolk County, my good friend Gary Richard is the only one out in Suffolk County talking about this benefit.
Right.
We have 140,000 veterans, about 80,000 of them are over the age of 60, and nobody knows about this benefit.
When we were running our Veteran Service Agency in Nassau County, I don't remember where we would send anyone out to.
Oh yeah, I was doing seminars at night in all of the assisted livings in Nassau County. And
Okay.
when I retired, the Arbors called me and said they wanted to create a job for me. My supervisor, Christine Herding, called and said, we want to create a job for you. So I said, well, let's sit down, we'll talk about it and see what we're going to do. And I took the job, and it's absolutely, to me, it's wonderful because it gets me to keep my hand in
Yeah.
Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
After I retired, I could have just sat home and watched NCIS on television. No, I'm out here, I'm dealing with veterans, wartime veterans, and I work with peacetime veterans also, but I mean, I work with wartime veterans for this benefit specifically, and we have filed over 400 claims since I started working for the Arbors, and through my aid and the Nassau and Suffolk County Veteran Service Agencies, we haven't lost one yet.
Haven't lost one
Haven't
claim.
lost a claim yet.
Okay,
but you have to know the rules.
right.
And the biggest problem, and I guess I can talk about this on here, is the worst place to go to find out about aid and attendance is on the VA website. Because you're going to get denied if you use the figures that are up there.
Wow.
Aid and attendance has 3 rules and 3 rules only.
Before you tell me those
Yeah.
3, I thought aid and attendance was for anyone that was in either an assisted living or a nursing home.
No nursing
What's
home.
the,
It's got to be an assisted living or homebound with a licensed agency coming into your house to help you with activities of daily living.
okay.
Okay?
So you can't be in a nursing home?
No, nursing home is, you're usually on Medicaid with the cost of nursing homes.
Right.
Unless your name is Rockefeller, and if your name was Rockefeller, you have too much assets.
Right.
Okay, there's an asset
Okay.
limit here.
So it's just for veterans that are in
An
an
assisted
assisted
living
living facility
or homebound,
or homebound?
right.
All right. Now, go ahead and tell me a little
Okay.
bit about
Now,
aid and
if you
attendance.
go on the VA website today, it'll tell you can have $80,000 in liquid assets, which means bank accounts, CDs, annuities, stuff like that. Closed annuities. An annuity would like a definitive figure attached to it, a $60,000 annuity or something like that. All right. You can't. If you're older than 90 years old, the rules we've been using here in Nassau and Suffolk is you can't have more than $50,000 in liquid assets. If you're in your 80s, it's got to be 60,000 or under. If you're in your 70s, it's 70,000 or under. If you're in your 60s, like myself, then you're going to have $80,000. You file and deny and get denied, you got to wait to file again. You got to wait till your numbers get down there. And now the VA is doing a very illegal thing. They're doing an illegal one-year look back. There is nothing passed by Congress that said they can go to a look back on veterans' benefits. And I'm sitting on 2 Congress people's advisory boards, and I've been telling them this for months, that you cannot put wartime veterans' benefits on a par with Medicaid. The 3 rules that I was talking about is you have to be a wartime veteran. This means that you had to be in the service while the war was going on. You didn't have to
Can
be-
you give me the dates of what a wartime
Well,
veteran
for
is?
World War II, yes, I have them in here. World War II, I guess we can, the last World War I veteran passed away last year, so we can eliminate him. But World War II was obviously from Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, up to December 31st, 1946, not 1945. And we actually had a man in the Bohemian Arbors who went into service on December 30th, 1946, stayed in through 1948, never got called back for Korea, and was getting this benefit until he died, because he had to be in the service for at least 90 days, at least 1 day during wartime.
Right.
Okay, Korea is June 25th, 1950 to January 31st, 1955. Vietnam is a little bit of a conundrum. If you were in country Vietnam, the dates go from February 28th, ironically the same day as today, 1961, up until May 7th, 1975. If you were in during the Vietnam War and never were in Vietnam, the dates go from August 5th of 1964 to May 7th of 1975. You had to spend at least 90 days in the service, at least 1 day during those periods. And for the Gulf War, the period goes from August 2nd of 1990 up till today's date. Okay, they have not closed out this period at all.
So if you served any time at all since 1990.
1990, from August 2nd on, you're eligible for this if you have to be in assisted living.
Okay. And it's,
Now, we like to think of ourselves as the young guys on the block, the
well,
Vietnam
not
vets.
a minute. I'm
we're
thinking
not.
if 1990, if you were 20 years old in 1990, you're only about 47 now? 37?
Well, they had 27 years. So you're
27 years.
27 years to 20, you're 47 years old.
Okay.
But you could have had a debilitating injury that put you in an assisted living.
Right.
Okay, so that's why we include that on there. Like I
Okay.
started to say, we consider ourselves, you know, like the young, when we meet all the time, me and Ed, we meet with World War II guys in their 90s and 100 years old, some of them. We're in our late 60s and 70s. Okay, we're the young guys on the block. Well, I'm on the board of the advisory board for Stony Brook State Veterans Home. 3 years ago, there was 5 Vietnam veterans in the Stony Brook State Veterans Home. Now there's 80,
Oh,
okay? Agent Orange takes their toll, and there you are, you're in a nursing home because you need that kind of help. Okay, but you can't get this benefit in any, the only aid and attendance benefit you can get in a state veterans nursing home, only nursing home you can get it in. I think it's almost $800 a month aid and attendance that you can get in a state veterans home.
so you can't get aid and attendance if you're in a nursing home?
No, because
you can
if
get
you're
it if
paying,
you're in
if you can get in a
Stony
state
Brook.
veterans home.
State
There's 5
veterans home.
state veterans homes in this state, and you can get in any of those 5 state veterans homes.
Do you know what the
It's not the-
occupancy is now in the state veterans
In a
home?
state veterans home here in Stony Brook is 350.
How many open spots are there?
In any nursing home, spots open up every day. Okay, but I mean, what they will do out at Stony Brook is they will put you in a nursing home that they are familiar with, close by, and when a spot opens up, you move in.
Oh,
They take good care of you. They just went 6 years without any violations, so it's an amazing place.
very good.
But the place I work in is an amazing place, and we cater to veterans. Okay, that's how I got the job there. I'm the only one of me. Okay, and we cater to veterans. And one of my favorite things before I get into the aid and attendance is we created this back in 2011 when I started working there. We have what's called every month a vets chat. And I get all my veterans together, and they bring me snacks, drinks, okay, and we talk veteran stuff for an hour. And let me tell you something, I've learned more about World War II and Korea through these vets chats, and they've learned more about Vietnam through these vets chats. They're incredible, and they're all opinionated. When you get a veteran in the same room with another veteran, especially with another 30 veterans, and they're all veterans, they get very opinionated. But some of them open up for the first time. We had a guy in the Arbors, Joe, in the Arbors in Westbury, was at Iwo Jima, Silver Star recipient with 2 Purple Hearts. Didn't talk about it after 1945. All of a sudden we're doing the vets chat, and it came up during the vets chat. And he started crying, but it was the first time in 60 years that he talked about it. So you get a bunch of vets in the same room, and you find out that there's a lot of opinions going around here, and they're not shy in sharing them. So they're a lot of fun.
Can you talk about the money some more?
Sure. With the aid and attendance, all right. There are the 3 rules that I started to talk about before. You got to be a wartime veteran, okay, serving at least 90 days, 1 day during wartime. You have to have either under $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, or $80,000 in liquid assets.
Now,
That's bank accounts, CDs, annuities, stuff like that.
what about your house?
Your house does not count as an asset until you sell the house. You sell the house, it becomes cash, and you can't get a house on Long Island for $60,000. So the only thing not subject to the VA look-back, the very illegal VA look-back, is if you put your house into an irrevocable trust, so that
Right.
when you sell the house, the buyer makes the check out to the trust of you, and
Right.
it does not hit your bank account. Very strangely, last year, the VA hooked himself up with the IRS. So now if all of a sudden for a half an hour, $300,000 hits your bank account, it sets off red lights in the VA.
So if
So
you
it's got to go into the trust,
if you have a trust,
irrevocable trust.
irrevocable trust, which my daughter has for me.
Yeah, I have one in my house.
Okay, so you think an irrevocable trust is a good thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's absolutely. I put my house and a number of assets into that irrevocable trust that are going to protect them once my wife is 3 years younger than me, so when she hits 67 or I hit 70, I did it when I was 65 and she was 62, it's safe. It's in there, and it's protected for your future life and your kids, if you want to leave anything to your kids. And it's not subject to the VA look-back.
Okay.
Okay, now, if you are a single veteran in an assisted living or homebound with a licensed home health care agency coming in to help you
Right.
with activities of daily living, if you meet the third requirement is that your monthly medical expenses have to outnumber your monthly income. you can use the entire cost of the assisted living as a monthly medical expense. Okay, so if you have $1,500 a month coming in Social Security, another $1,000 a month coming in a pension, and the assisted living's costing you $1 more than that, then you're eligible for this benefit, along with being the wartime veteran and having under the designated asset amount.
How do you pay for it if...
You get to keep your pensions. Here's the great thing, it's not Medicaid. All right, so if we can get you the aid and attendance, which for a single veteran is worth $1,794 a month, or $21,528 a year, tax-free. If you're a veteran with a spouse and you're together either home or in an assisted living, the benefit is worth $2,127 a month, or $25,524 a year, tax-free. If you're the surviving spouse of a wartime veteran, you're eligible for $1,153 a month, or $13,836 a year. Now here's how you use it. You supplement your income. If your monthly medical expenses are outnumbering your monthly income, you do have other expenses. Okay, well here, now you can supplement. You can pay your Social Security, your pension, and add $1,794, $2,127, or $1,153 to your income to pay the assisted living. So you're not putting a burden on your family. Okay, you have now all of a sudden you have this money coming in. And by the way, this benefit goes up every year as long as Social Security goes up.
Right.
Now this year we only went up 0.03%. So this benefit went up a couple of dollars. It went from $17.88 to $17.94, from $21.19 to $21.27, and then from $11.49 to $11.53. But way back when, 5 years ago when I started with the Arbors, $17.94 was $1,500 and change.
Right.
$11.53 for the spouse was, I think, $819. Okay, so now it's up to $11.53, and the $21.27 was like $1,800 and change.
You mentioned a spouse.
Right.
That's very interesting. The spouse is entitled to the same thing?
Yes, a spouse who was married to a wartime veteran met all the other requirements, as long as it was either a one-time marriage or she married a non-veteran and then he passed away and he married another veteran, then you can use the veteran thing. Now, unfortunately, last year the VA changed it. It used to be where if you were married to a veteran and the veteran passed away and you remarried a non-veteran and the non-veteran passed away and now you're in an assisted living, you would just went back and proved that your first husband was a veteran. Well, last year the VA turned around and changed the rules without telling anybody. So now, as of last year, if the second marriage to the non-veteran ended after November 1st of 1990, you are no longer eligible. Well, going under the old rules, there's a whole bunch of young ladies living in the Arbors right now who are still getting this benefit because they were grandfathered in because they changed the rules after they already got the benefit.
So 1990 is important how?
If your second marriage to a non-veteran and you didn't
Right.
marry a veteran after that, so you
Right.
just had the two marriages, ended after November 1st of 1990, you are no longer eligible for this benefit.
Okay.
Okay, again, we have a whole bunch of women in the Arbors, the 5 Arbors that we have, who are getting this benefit because they didn't make that announcement until somewhere around September of last year. So anybody who got it before that keeps it.
I heard that the VA doesn't carry over if you are 100% disabled and you're getting almost $3,000 a month,
Right.
and then you die, that your wife does not
Your
get.
wife, no, your wife does get benefits that if you're not 100%, she doesn't get. I mean, she can still use the PX, and as far as I know, she can still use the VA hospital.
Okay.
Okay? Now,
But she doesn't get any money.
no. Now, if
All
we have a
right.
case here, if, say, it was a husband and wife getting the 2127, and one of them died, if the wife passed away, then he's got to contact the Veteran or me, and I'll contact the Veteran Service Agency, and we've got to lower the 2127 to 1794.
Okay.
And if it's the spouse, then we have to lower it to 1153. But this is part of what I do, working for
Right.
the office. We get this done all the time. And I got to give a shout out to the 3 guys I gave before, to Kenny Rommel and to Larry Mansfield and the Bill Byrne in Nassau County, and Gary Richard, who I use exclusively in Suffolk County. Gary works at the Stony Brook State Veterans Home. Gary's great. You can call Gary on a Monday and he'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay. The net worth that they look at includes the bank statements?
Bank statements, yes. It's mostly bank statements. I mean, especially if you're just dealing with, you know, I mean, it takes in CDs, annuities, and whatever like that. So you got to figure out what you can put in, what's legal, and I'm not up on the legal stuff, what's
Right.
legal to go into an irrevocable trust. Okay, some things can't go into there. I know IRAs can't go into there, but I know CDs can. So you can put the CD in there, and then now that's not part of your assets anymore. Okay, it's not part of your liquid assets. Liquid asset is anything, and people used to get confused with this before I started working for the office. Well, I got an account open with my mom, and it's $40,000 on there, so the VA is going to turn around and say, well, $20,000 is mom's and $20,000 is mine. Mom's name's on there, $40,000 is mom.
Right.
Okay, right before I started working for the office, we had somebody who was denied because they did the same thing. They were denied for having too many assets. He took his mom's name off the account, and it took him over 2 years to get the money. And every time I'd call the VA, and I had friends down there, Pat, he lied to us.
Oh,
So he went to the bottom of the pile.
wow.
Took him over 2 years to get the money.
What kind of forms does somebody have to fill out to
Well,
get this?
for a veteran, go back one page on here, there's a small little list of things listed here of things you have to get together to file this claim. Okay, it looks imposing, but it's really not. For a veteran,
This is what you do most of the time.
this is what I do.
What page is that on?
2122, that's on page 14. The VA will not recognize your power of attorney, okay, if you want to do this for your mom or dad, and you really shouldn't be handling a VA claim for your mom or your dad if you know nothing about the VA. So what we do on a 21-22, we assign a veterans organization to represent you,
Right.
okay? In our case, in the state of New York, we have 62 veteran service agencies in 62 counties. Everybody's got one. And everybody's got an American Legion accreditation. They all go to American Legion school. You remember those days, 5 days up there in boot camp and then
Right.
take a test on Saturday. So we usually assign the American Legion to represent you pro bono, no charge. They represent you. When you're dealing with the VA, the biggest bureaucracy in the United States government, you do not want to be going up against the VA, just you against the VA. The VA is all the time has commercials out here now. Go online and file a claim. You do that, you don't
Right.
get to 2122. So now it's the claimant against the VA. You want somebody working on your behalf. All right. The veteran claim form is the 527EZ. That's for the veteran.
We got less than a minute to
Less than a minute. All right.
continue.
527EZ is for the veteran or the veteran and his spouse. The 534EZ is for the widow. 2680 is the physician's letter that has to be filled out correctly,
Okay.
and the 8416 is your medical expense report.
I get the point. There's a lot
Okay?
of there's a
There's
lot of forms
stuff
too.
out here. If anybody has any questions, my phone number is up there.
Good.
And I answer questions. The lovely VA gave my private cell phone number out, so I answer questions from Seattle, Texas, Florida.
Okay.
I have no problem doing that.
All right, everyone, I hope you watch the credits at the end of the show. You'll see Pat's phone number on it. And hope to see you next month at the show. That's it. See you next month. Remember, the show will be on the same time, the same channel. Please tell your friends about Veterans News. Okay, there we
All
go.
right? The music. I feel like standing up every time that music comes on.
That's right, you should. I don't think, well, the credits aren't showing. Okay, I can't tell the folks what your phone number is. Email me. There's the credits.
My phone number up there?
Okay, your phone number is up there.
Jim?
Okay.